Everyone will come across obstacles in their life that may cause struggle, but that should never stop anyone from enjoying life. Welcome Chris Matthews, as he has allowed us to experience what it is like to be in his shoes.
Step into a place that's alive with creativity. At the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, our students have a passion for art, graphic design, music, dance, and theater. We're here to help you discover your artistic potential. From classic techniques to modern innovations, UW-Whitewater is an outstanding place to learn your craft and prepare for your career. So bring your talents and imagination. Come be part of the Warhawk family.
As an Army ROTC cadet at Whitewater, you have the opportunity to develop into a great leader while learning and applying the Army values to your everyday life. Within ROTC, you have the chance to travel overseas in the CULP program to train with other militaries, attend many elite Army schools such as Airborne and Combat Diver, and you have the opportunity to attend conferences and guest lectures by some of the Army's top-ranking officers. Our Warhawk cadets participate in many extracurricular activities, Division III sports, Greek life, intramural sports, among many other team building and community service events. Being a cadet at Whitewater is more than just being part of the Army. It's also about being active members in our community and coming together to form a family atmosphere. Anyone who wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves while developing themselves professionally should consider UW-Whitewater ROTC. To sign up for UW-Whitewater ROTC, go to the 4th floor of McCutcheon Hall to room 417.
Here at UWW, we put a lot of emphasis on shaping your involvement. Involvement helps you get to know more people with similar values and goals as yourself. The Student Involvement Office can help you get involved with organizations on campus, or we can help you start a brand new one. So what are you waiting for? It's time to shape your involvement at UWW. If you'd like to learn more, stop by UC 127 or contact us at involvement@uww.edu or call 262-472-6217.
UW-Whitewater Weatherhawks is a student-ran organization which promotes learning about weather and climate. If you love to watch storms and want to learn more about them, this is the club for you. Also build friendships by getting hands-on experience. Provide weather-related information to media outlets and promote activities throughout the Whitewater community. So join Weatherhawks today.
Hi, my name is Chris Matthews, and I'm a junior here at UW-Whitewater, and I'm in the process of switching my major. I was a broadcast print web journalism major, and I will be a Middle Eastern Studies and Geopolitics major. So I was born at 26 weeks, and some people tell me that's a little early, and as a result I weighed just 1 pound 14 ounces, which is a bit small. As a result of this, I was placed in an incubator, which provided oxygen, kind of helped me to stay alive during the first few months of my life when I was in the hospital. And in this incubator, they actually fed me too much oxygen. And what happened as a result of that is a condition called retinopathy of prematurity. So my vision is very limited in field in both eyes. My eyes also do not work together, so I can only ever see things with one eye at a time. Because of this, I learned Braille at the age of 4. I learned to use a cane about the same time, and I've been blind, or had very low vision for my entire life. So in terms of schooling, I read Braille and try to do a lot of my assignments that way. Otherwise, I have several devices that can help me succeed in classes, and just takes me a lot of extra time sometimes to do things. So one of the biggest challenges with being blind is the fact that a lot of the technology that helps us keep up with things like college is extraordinarily expensive. So this right here is called a Braille Sense. It's essentially a Braille laptop. So there are 6 keys that allow me to type Braille onto a touch display. And I can then read what is being written. So this is kind of how I take notes in my classes, and you'll see me with this as I, am trying to keep up with a lecture because I can't read PowerPoint slides. So this is just kind of your run-of-the-mill iPhone. If I go ahead and unlock here, you can see we're in BBC News. Well, I wouldn't know that if I couldn't see the phone. So Apple has built in, sort of like the Mac, a similar feature called VoiceOver. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my home button 3 times.
VoiceOver on. Portrait. BBC News. Back button.
So what it just told me is VoiceOver is on, the phone's in portrait mode so I know how to hold it, and that I'm in the BBC app. So if I go ahead and read this, it says creativity peaks in your 20s and 50s, and if I swipe down with 2 fingers...
Creativity peaks in your 20s and 50s. Heading. 5 hours ago. Newsbeat. If you've ever wondered why your mind is a hotspot for new ideas in your 20s.
So that was talking about that there's a new study from Ohio State that has found that in your 20s, your brain kind of hits this peak of creativity. So this will essentially read me these articles, or I can navigate completely using gestures. So I can go through the article, I can go back or forward in the app, and it lets me navigate around using just audio. I can also do something kind of similar to the Mac in that I can zoom in, and I could read this visually if I wanted to. So this allows me to do pretty much anything. I have several apps on here for social media, as you can see. So I can, go into Facebook, I can message friends, I can go on Reddit and see what the internet's up to, and this allows me to do this all in an accessible way.
At the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, we're passionate about learning. Our talented faculty members blend teaching with research, creating hands-on learning experiences for students. Warhawk Pride thrives at UW-Whitewater, where student-athletes excel on the field and in the classroom, where diversity is celebrated. A tradition of excellence. Find your passion here.
Here at UW-Whitewater Intramural Sports, we have a motto: a sport for everyone and everyone in a sport.
It anyways. They're gonna count it.
Had a blast. Always have fun at intramurals.
Every day we strive to go above and beyond that goal by providing healthy exercise, promoting leisure education, and giving students that competitive atmosphere they are looking for.
Yes!
It's exciting. Brings me back to those high school days with Friday Night Lights.
With our 25 different intramural sports offered, we guarantee that we have a sport for you. Go to our website and find your sport today.
On. Flip them off. 91.7 WSUW. 91.7 is a student-run radio station serving the Whitewater area with a variety of original programs, live sports broadcasting, community events, and more. So turn us on. 91.7 FM. Or stream us live at 917theedge.com.
I took Audio Production 1 because I wanted to learn more about how to make good sounding audio. And the frustrating thing for me is you'd be surprised for a field that's so based on auditory feedback how visual audio editing can be. And I discovered that last semester with Audio 1. And it's frustrating because, as a blind person, I rely a lot on my hearing. I use it all the time, so I can hear things. I pay attention to the way things sound. But the editing process I really can't do without the help of a sighted person, or at least do it well. And so Audio 2, I really liked the storyboard aspect of the class, so we had to do some projects where we had to come up with long-form audio stories and edited those with a partner, and I really liked kind of being a creative partner and writing the interviews and conducting the interviews and being there to provide feedback as my partner was editing.
Chris is a really good student. He comes to class all the time. He asks really good questions. He has a really interesting perspective on things, and I appreciate that when what he brings, his perspective to class, because I think he points out things that a lot of other people aren't as in tune with. His hearing, I think, is much better than most people's, just because of the lack of vision. And so the hearing makes up for that, and so he hears things differently, and I think it's a great asset, especially in the audio courses. As far as teaching him goes, I think, for instance, in the Audio 2 course that I teach, there's a strong video component to it, and so trying to teach audio for video to somebody who can't see video is something I haven't encountered before, but Chris is great about communicating what he needs and how to go about that, and we've had a great working relationship for a number of years.
Be sure to enjoy life, even in the roughest of times. Everyone is capable of anything, so never give up. Thank you for joining us here on our last episode of In Your Shoes.